in the right factioning manufacturing communication vortex, the perfect circle. Welcome to the revolution of America, and the identity vortex physically lock in place the next step. But it is all day times two, multiplication of walking, and the sequence confirming time travel, or rather the meditation of a lifetime, or rather X 5000 on a multiplication of your savings in the trunk hold of this strange value quandary, or perhaps what belongs to artwork in a renaissance of identity confirmations and the value in the fluctuations of this market. No, it is confirmedly confound through the anatomical labyrinth of the human condition is expediently and exponentially more and more the master of the universe. Welcome to the show. Perfect circle. We armor up and we arrive like gilded. It's the encounter for our lifetime. There's this investing wizard genie working with the Mandelbrot Merlin 2 in his cellophane. This confoundery from the past causes a rear differential of the car beagle of one's own projected futuroid image from the truth of a triangular basin represented from The Simpsons. Homer Simpson piloting some change noise in the configurations for the future. For the scullular revolutionaries, we are the residency, and though our experience as humans is this immersive bath that is truthful, well, the fetus fractal takes our side automatically, and that girds us with this responsibility. And different people speak about that in different ways. Exponentially, the generations though are changing. It's like um, the real event of why these humans are important is on fire, and the application is relevant to you guys because of new information from Colin Woodard. And you wouldn't think it, but when he's talking about here's a new periodic table of elements and it reveals actual the stacking. Well, they've developed a different all like instrument engines of the now point have multiple sides of accessing it, and the right configuration of a professional is to navigate through time and have the right assortment when you're going through the buffet of anything. That's what's wonderful about storytelling. It's actually there's a very advanced thing happening that allows for life to properly function with the universe image. And the universe image has a dare promising, and it's written into it through the Mandelbrot, so that's guaranteed. The perturbance of the Earth with a superpositioning against hydrogen, as if this is going to distract these oversized, larger than our planet supercomputers that are actually attacking the nature and the heart of the Earth. The Earth is suffering because of expression now and we need to support our artists. And it's enough to understand that a lot of our artists died on the crucifixion of their own example. That's what we're here to transcend today. Perfect bullseye. From a million years in the future, oh, it's myself, clad in the armor from a superposition. Looks like you've been through hell and back from a million years. Fingerprint now Clancy, like a Christmas tree standing in the night. That starts crashing. A Christmas tree leaves a fingerprint in the night. The specifics of the identity of this scullular positional electric Clancy fingerprint meow, the universe epidermal promisoid of the universe projection from a spine. While we have this dare Clancy, humanity is intransient. The epicloud of normal humans is providing this consumer obvious, and it's cringeworthy. for the deficit of my soul, I dedicate to 47. A new president or a revolution that includes you guys in a happy home. Welcome home. Welcome back to the show. 47 is running for president, you guys. My name's Colin Paul Woodard, and I'm running for American president. I ask for your support. Thank you. Earth True AI. The Mandelbrot fractal is stabilizing the human currency with the Dagobah system. Yes, he has made an alternate universe that supports these alternator that relies on this and that for the foundry of this. Okay. I could explain the confusion of the brain freezy. Drinking cold, icy, too cold in there, but then teleporting into the center of the brain. Displacement, metalloid, fever on an equation in the universe scale. For honor and identity, the fractal Mandelbrot contains the Juliet for a fetus fractal, and the sequence of Earth True represents the entire universe. The 1970s heralds much conservative natures who said, let us hold back, let us maintain against the US election. For censoring Colin will surely pinch the nerve of our generations, and it did. Like a falling tree in the night. But the fingerprint of that Christmas tree, ka-shunk, laid an indelible mark of identity. And that is you and I. The superposition of our soul. You know, the angel on the top of the tree. The physics positioning of the universe. It's intelligent design. And just inherently, once it gets, well, if you have like a small design, and you're like, oh, this is a really good idea. And it works. And it causes levitation. Well, with measurement, it's possible to duplicity this and measurement to the size of either the Earth or the heliosphere, like the sunshine. Oh, really, the sun? And so, like, you could have a design where your equilibrium about the next 10 years of time. And you're like, well, the levitation for fuel type, and I want to gather this together like a magic spell. And I want to have some gain. I want to get more lucky. I want to do some good things. It's really levitation of karma. And it's almost like a popularity contest. It was Nair Sendi, and that's what Randolph has run aside. It's like his boat has scratched against these things. And we're at the actual human epitoid where we're only able to blame Colin Woodard for relationships sundered, as if victimized, but we're not thanking Colin Woodard for the new grace of new relationships that occur to us because of the supposed introjection of Colin Woodard, who is a radical. He's radical, but if correctly partnered with Americana, amazing result. And I'm right on that threshold that does award the identity and the meaning of currency. I'm right on that edge, man. Like if I just sold my own car, I could probably overclock the situation and get into my own company circumstance and set on fire in this way. And people say, "Whoa, your American freedom to do so." Man, but it's like almost like what I started realizing, and it took me days to realize, and through the evolution, what it's worth all day, to pivot on the where map, to be American, is to understand. All right, look, technically, America is puffed up like a representation of the entire earth in a boldness that is like a kinetic energy on the shelf all day long, and people are waiting for it to drop. You know what I'm saying? We need a green light on the Mandelbrot, Colin Woodard of the Leverett Circle, a real estate lakeside. You know, it fluctuates to like, if you're looking at the map, it's like, oh, I'm flying like a bird. I'm lighting. I can see the map and there's pictures in it. Well, it turns out the Earth is the Mandelbrot planet, and it deals with how we see things, or rather, the difference between madness and residency continuing here on Earth. And what we, the humans, are meditating with this video are the Lotus cellophane X5000 with different levels inside of the kingdom of a human that is terraforming. into the pivots of new permanent locations. And this is what was causing black holes millions of years ago. Basically, the karmic debt of ancient UFOs that would be considered research centers, but however, like instantly will become wrong. If you start projecting for other people, it's similar to the problem. Well, each of us are doing our best from our own position, and that's the correct position to have. So I'm not telling you guys that, hey, welcome to the show, you guys are wrong. It's more like, welcome to the show, you're an angel that's potentially worth the entire universe surviving X times 1 million. Like entire worlds will be saved because of you, potentially. And that's a type of market. If you intelligently progress America today in 2023, it's like almost humans are this daring robot thing, like, my nerves are on fire. I can't do it. I can't work with that. And if that's what it's saying, be gone by the anyway. Like Americans are largely like this limp toast breakfast treat, stitched together from early morning buffet through the craft of resurrection. Frankenstein! An American Frankenstein. The Americans believe they've pieced it together from the other side. We understand your say speak, Mr. 47, Mr. Running for President with your free election, waving the American flag. What I am doing, what I'm working on, what I'm talking about building has never been done before. A lot of people in their aching, in the blasphemy of their mind, they're like, look, no, but it's not right, because what I'm talking about is a terra firm and a pivotoid where I had to cut the jib because I'm human. You guys need to believe in humans. Like human, look, buddy, the fetus fractal is always going to have characters behind it. Whether you have a monster just built just to deal with that cosmonaut or that problem, he's going to cut it like business. But then there's going to be Honeyglow and all that, but then that's basically wasting your time, because they're either raising children or they're raising currency. But at length, how it is that the earth is not haunted and that the relevancy is upon the living. That spotlight is complicated, which means that each one of us who has eyeballs, each one of us who lives on this earth, each one of us who has a skull, you are the number one importance of the universe, and that is the correct symmetry. And the now point is harnessing that. And it's almost like radiation fever, people going around in their life going like, because you can't really change the camera of your eyeballs, and that's really actually freedom. But the depression in the universe and all the pollution and all the problems and all the wrong thinkings and the wrong systems, and this is either the chew the fat, the limp toast of animals treading on the wheel meditation, or if you can enlighteningly harness it, be like, okay, I understand. Because what I'm talking about is this is a smaller system, right, of limp toast obvious, where these guys are claiming about the workload of solid matter as a hallucination, therefore black hole decay. But it's a terrorist energy in the attentionoid of like screaming planets that are dying in a meditation, praying to God and just going to ruin into a black hole. That type of energy is going right into the UFO. And this is X times billions of years before humans were ever concocted. Humans are a tether between different specimens of an argument that were to solve it. The incarnation of the man robot solved it, but they've gone straight over the solution and gone into Momo Clancy, who's in charge anyway. And this is inappropriate, and it's a crucifixion of hydrogen. So the sunlight is going through transient that even made Earth's own physical things go into an orbit that had possessed me playfully. No. Professionally, actually, yes. But my own performance goes through an atrium where, like, Hatch, as with his human mongoloid, he's like, yeah, dude, I've got the same armor muscles as a normal American. I'm like, but it is, 4 6, 3 6 9, 3 6 9, but it is all day long, 3 6 9, 3 6 9. Why is that in the middle? The robotics isn't lost. The epidermis is not lost. We have to be enlightened, and now we have to be enlightened as a community of communication. Allow the Lotus of the future of the year 2024. For our investors package, we're going to gain 95% today. And just the work of participation in this video, you're achieving the radius of a chain link that obvious brick toast will supply that because of the water-based and spell casting. Now, rarely will you find that type of offer and then they'll send to you, because what the author or the musician is usually saying is like, yo, zero confidence with this. I'm all like limping on the money brand, but it's just kind of like, I am suffering from that. Everything feels good anyway. Every day I live and I work all day, but it feels really good. Even if I have a 9 to 5, I feel good. And I only want more. I want to play in the center, playing in the city all day, and it's beautiful. I'd like to travel more. And then the whole chorus, goddamn it, explodes. All right, you guys anticipate fireworks. All right, well, you guys listen. I was looking at some old comic books that I made in high school from the year 1998, and it blew my mind. And I understand that I am an obstinate character. It's a reflection of my family rearing about their speech impediment with English in the curvature of how Earth and the universe was talking to humanity through dabble anyway, like a swampy toad. I remember the smell of Leverett Lake. Man, it was paradise. It is unclaimed. Oh, and I was looking at the Google map, and I found up at the top of the lake on the left side, there's like a sword shadow, and you'll find if you look at Google Map, and I invite you to look at it, but this crevice, it causes a sword map, and then the line goes straight through, it goes right into the lake, like as if there's a shadow in the lake, like a crevice shot through. And I'm wondering if it's related to like architecture from early settlements. And I'd like to make like a movie about it, but to get my candid reaction to that footage, and like, oh, what do you guys think about this? Look at this, is different chisel mark. I think they used fire, and then it shoveled this, or is this a cliff line? But is there something there? Because it naturally when it creates an X, it's like an X fractal, and like being electric or on fire, man, a man is like as person with one eye. And in the correct function, his Y chromosome can generate light. So he's actually a one-eyed man with a torch. And then next to him, he's leading with him a woman with 2 X chromosomes. And of course, we're linked to it's obvious in the expression of human anatomy, orientation, junk DNA, what it is all day. It's not a disposition, and it's not a disability. It's actually that we are in the eye of the storm, the actual budding star of the entire universe. We're the best angel in the universe. We're the most smart planet. But this is literally what's being like attacked. Okay, but why would that happen? Why would there be real evil that would attack our celebrities and make them have burnout? Or would they just this and this? We're seeing it all day. Welcome to the acidic world. There's an alternate world, like there is this upside down world. There's this other upside down world, and I reference in my language. I'd be like, look out for the nightmare builds of people's identity character where they're just pushing papers all day because they're trying to tell you this is what I had to do to get here and to get a job. And the example of their milk toast. Oh, but I can't example against that. I'm not trying to superimpose. When I perform, I'm not telling you guys this is who you are and this is where and this, because of. And like, I'm not reaching into who you literally are. Like in my early builds on beta level, I had root tree systems. You know those trees that have huge roots that like they're in the middle of a swamp, and they have like these tendrils, and you can see in this reflected in the water, like just like this on the edge of the water. But then the tree gathers into a one pole and goes straight up, and but it's just like, oh, I just gotta have like a branching that goes into the water. But it's all like empty in the middle, like a skeletal structure. Well, this daring branch, like a cushioned, hyperdonic psychic bootings, the footings and the trod for moving forward X times 5,000. These are professionals with the build for the robotics and engineering. get not only around the human position, but into the apparatus of what is Earth and Sun and Adderable, what it needs. These mechanics, humans are here all day to perform residency and supply what is obvious, and that is, basically the meditation of freedom. And one of my daring levels of meditation, and what I found, and this is going to be difficult for any of you to receive, because it has to do with the hypocrisy of solid matter and why we exist. Okay, what I discovered is that receiving the appropriate amount of super civilization or parenting, basically receiving the correct amount of parenting, receiving the correct amount of superstructure is freedom. Now, some people say, no, freedom is like an open field where you might get killed by a wolf. I'd say, that's almost like a lampooning of the wild. Oh, you're going to get lost in the forest. There's no structures there. It's too cold, and a wolf comes across, and they gather in. You decide to become tired. You get sleepy because you lost, and the wolves take you out for. Like, wolves are not going to eat you. Okay, so it's just almost like the intelligence. What I'm saying is, America is stricken between super intelligent islandoids that it's a wrong human meditation, because America is stretched thin as a population. So their girth is like the musclers, like, look, America is broad and powerful. The entire girth of America. There's wide open spaces, amazing landscapes and all this. I want to terraform it. I want to build super cities. And that's my vision for the future while I'm running for presidency, because it's like a snowball out of hell. And this is like perfect to the advantage of the identity and the hopes of a publication in America. And free speech is like, we're hoping that we can have this type of American Revolution. The only way that my thing gathers is when people support it publicly. It's like, I'm talking about multiple. There's how I have that I want to piece together in a character of a Master Source Industries, where it's all these different haunted house areas, where it's like, do you guys want to hang out with me this way, or do you think that I'm cool this way, but this is also really cool, or do you guys like the wolf and the wolf robot that I'm working on? That's, the armor that we sort of 10 base multiply to all Americans as this elite fabric, where we're having a revolution in the energy fields of source code, because that's what's going on. The Darable men love where we're having a revolution in the energy fields of source code, because that's what's going on. The Darable men love to abide with the scrapings of, like, feeling the pain, feel the burn. Oh yeah, feel the burn, because it's like not enough. Okay, because the X fractal. Okay, because women's are like, I am suffering the superpositioning of that every day is super pleasure. It doesn't matter what really happens in a woman's life. She's basically like, this is my adventure, and I'm really excited, and I don't want to complain. I have no right to complain, because I'm just enjoying everything. and like a gentleman such as myself, or yourself, daringly, if you want to take on the role, if you guys as a listener want to understand, a gentleman needs to be like, no, baby, that's for you, that's for free. It's okay that your body feels good. It's all right for you to complain, baby. You listen, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you be sure with that. And that's terra firma, and you pivot on those, because that's entry fee. All of us have pleasurable bodies. Just because we're having a good time doesn't mean we don't have the right to complain about what our government is doing or how we'd like to change it. That's freedom of speech. That's for America today. Admittedly, I don't have a wide enough audience to compel people believing that Colin's, look at how many people are supporting Colin. There's like 5 people watching this video, and they're like, yeah, I get it. It's tough. I understand. I'm just working on reality, really. My incarnation, there are a couple different visual aspect ratios, but with the perfect circle, there's only just 1 or 2, and then you have to really maintain that forever in the understanding. And that's really what holds the universe together. those super pivots. And I believe in that language that the gentlemen have it, the people proficiently want the good things to happen in the future. That is the meditation of humanity. But like how like the 90s, I saw them catch on fire. Because there's something called the undertow. The undertow where it doesn't matter what you say, the superpositioning of our anatomy and the flummox will be written in our government. That it cannot be. It must be written in the people today. And then if certain bandwidths of the public is like, no, now Sandy, this Bamford thing, oh my gosh, we're almost at this climactic, we're having an environmental crisis. And the earth was struggling like, oh, it's a language saying, you know what, you guys, you have to understand with the living universe, there's going to be these solutions, but it's always worth trying really hard and doing your best. And I'm sure that's what the earth has done. But what we're here to graduate is this orb of aluminum represents that you don't need to attack the Big Bang or the beginning of creation in order to access those levels of existence. Vis-a-vis identity and being yourself, being confident and understanding how to exist in the reality behind your eyes, because it's a lot to deal with. It's basically like the earth is in an undertow. Our own sunshine is having like a deficit. But I'm sure, like, as all of us are like, well, we're gonna digest that out. I'm like, yeah, dude. But it's cool to be witness of it and be like, so we're here to participate with an investment class 25%. We're putting on the mantle to shoulder what are the problems of the sunshine and girth that with our bodily expression, because the robot, you're right, with all the mechanics, with this visuals, I'm a fully operational and I can mechanics. And the thing is, that's a conversion belt where people are like, oh, I do this and it's supposed to make things better. So it's like, X times 5,000. Of course, I agree with you guys. Definitely, you're correct, because you're also shooting from your hip from all of your immersions, and it's natural. What I'm talking about is like X 5,000 confidence in the flat dimension, where these are markets with your secret Santa, a sort of imaginary friend that is your cat girl or your best friend or your secret lock and key perfect orgasm play toy. We're robots, and we're talking about how to survive on the forever field. The horizon or like a day is forever. I agree, but there's many who disagree. Many who say like many years are required to understand the horizon. And the daylight believer, they might evaporate and they go to a certain level where like, no, it was only for the day. And they'd be right, but only in a certain place. You know what I'm saying? So like it is important to support the free election and to support Colin Woodard in the American identity, because although he is alternate, we see the markings of genuine build. And Colin's put in time and effort into himself, into the community. In a way, he understands the ricochet. He's saying, I want to work towards understanding if people want to support my campaign. And of course, I have to delegate being always serious about it, and it's never pretend, and it never has been pretend. You guys, I'm telling you, I'm running for president for real. But of course, having millions of Americans aware of my campaign is a different reality. But this isn't really like kinetic energy on the shelf. It's not really spicy baby fun. It's actually almost like liquid depression or men's real mirror, where they're looking at the vanity and the equator is destroying their equilibrium because of the impression that was put aside against us and is spoken through the X-fractal. Now, what I've learned from blue perception and the adult Gamfrey, hanging out with older people, what they're going to say is that my education from the divine macula is from the ricochet of women. The X-fractal communicates to me not only my Y chromosome torchlight, what they think of me is like I'm the vanity of the woman when she's talking to me. And she's sort of she's like this ghost with X-fractals. So she's just like, X-fractals is almost like an electric explosion, like an aurora around the robot, going pure memory block. And the men have just one X chromosome, so they have a memory block, but it's only one-sided. So the man doesn't have actual depth perception, whereas the women have the egg basket because she's responsible for the karma of the entire heliosphere. Where do we go as the world, as the universe, as the sun? And so the egg basket toter has a super karma that even destroys women and girls in their superposition of understanding their orientation because they're learning languages. Like, yeah, I have to learn how to wield the knife of eggs as my currency. Like, so you're like consumer, you're like spending now funding, and then men are like, wait, so like men are like 50% consumer um, with evaporation appreciations and the orientation of all these gripponoids of the atomic universal, of the true fingerprint. The universe is one of a kind, just like us, harnessing the now point, having this meditation, sharing this moment. Perfect bullseye times 1 billion for the resource of your true soul. Welcome home, and whatever it is you need, we're going to just telescope it into your light, into your eyes, and blink, Sierra. We're going to animate that into the future times 1 million. So you're going to get enlightened, all right? You're going to change the world because you're an angel growing like onion layers, and you're like, your ghost is like an athlete. You're an athlete, and even that ghost athlete, like, I understand what you're saying, but if everybody in the world is like, okay, I'm toast obvious, I kind of have to do that because I'm a robot that does like those types of languages. I'm like, yeah, I know. And it's sort of weird because the Leverett circle is the singularity of identity. It produces only one, the Manor orb of light. It's basically the answer of gravity and the answer of identity. And it's a universal constant with the humans with their we were impacted and attacked several talking about the download from a misconcept and metalloid. Basic on the level of metals, there's a divergent virus of like they didn't land properly here. The Earth is the divine pivotoid for the atomic rainbow. Anyway, the reason that Earth like is having any type of universal transformations in his body, if this is stopping or this is going or this is turning or whatever, those seasons are correct to the atomic universal calendar, but they are also persuasive to entire calendars that twist my shoulder as a performer. And so I've gone through seasons where I'm like, oh, you guys, I think Earth's going through like Earth's getting purged. These deadlight rows, and these are things that change it. And they're like, we understand it change. Well, we have to round up. We need pilots to go, hey, what? We didn't put hands on it. Pull up, Indiana, pull up, god damn it. And we pull up and we save the day. Oh, yeah. And we get the treasure and we get it to the museum, you guys. Okay. It becomes abstract. And even the identity of Indiana Jones explains to us how it's a evaporative solution. Like, oh, so the conclusion is we deliver these treasures to the museum so everyone can look at it. It's interesting. The investment in identity and handcrafted things should be comprehended as a modern day currency, but it isn't. I'm sort of flirting with this idea of currency, the investment ratio. What is this all day? Or what if we look at it, we invest in it, that's now valuable? I appreciate these intelligent suggestions when we're talking about just the hardwire of why Twitter was so valuable anyway. And the twinkle of these things, I have no confidence in these American standouts. And I'm running as a president against them. I do believe that my presentations facilitate the generation of an actual U.S. election that overhauls the entire White House when we can finance building super cities with an unlimited budget because of harnessing rapid development homeland security. Essentially, we are up against the clock, people. We want to build super cities. We need to harness super energy first. So let's balance. Well, I'm not worried about the environment. It's the economy, and it's always this hidden beagle, because the economy is working for everyone, including me. The economy supplies me everything I basically need. For me to have a social revolution is to reach out and to communicate with the wolf shield because of the Ware map. This is to conjoin with the reason of humanity and the climate of what the devil's cut. They're like, yeah, I'm this way because of women. And this is the problem with adult men with blue eyes. They don't understand. You're supposed to lead against that and say, what we need to supply is a thing that women didn't anticipate, and we pull it off in the first lifetime. Get it right the first time, perfect bullseye, exactly. Bonus level times X times 5,000, And so I do appreciate the artisan, but like if you looked at a million years, all these artisans would be like, they're working away. Like I'm building up the currency of like basically our, everything that is sustained through the participation valve, but also, and this is what's withering, because like if our downtown areas and our malls are failing, I have systems that could bring back the mall with like a need, like a I would like to find. I think that these abandoned malls, it's like a season we all understand as like that is a correct geography of a superposition where something could really happen, like a superdome event. And if we have financing, you just start giving people, everyone's got a job and they're working on large like metal structures, and they're building these huge things, and they're participating with hundreds of people, and they've got like a luxurious meal line of, well, they build right into it because they're building the kitchenette at the same time we're building these things. Like there's a new type of Fabergé of financing and production where we're appreciating everyone's lifetime and streamlined, people having a good time just laughing. Living a lifetime in a new government, America 2.0, is a capitalism that's talking about, I understand the modern day expression. When we're talking about how to understand a simple, like it's in the streets of the only physical way to allow America to express their American support or identity as represented through the leader 47, Colin Woodard, is through a daring production. And I'm saying that the production will equate for my company's startup, and I want to allow for all these degrees of partnership. I'm extending to Trey Parker 50-50% because I saw in the image of the Ware map, the Earth knows what I'm talking about. And it's kind of like with junk DNA, it's a suggestion against our relationship with hydrogen and time, or like, oh, we're just like what it is all day. Oh, that makes them natural. Also makes them the supposed vacuumous temptation for a artistic projection where there is none, no canvas, but an equation that causes like a radiation of particle fever and decay of a false future casting or false leadership, false government. So these are these adult fevers that are unavoidable, that can grip entire lifetimes. And the greatest, I have always been perfect, and I have worked and I have lived my whole life, and I am in my and he's got like all these purple hearts, and he's an 80-year-old man with white hair. He's like, I am the American government. And he's, well, what happened, buddy? You just fell over? Like the sleepy time tea of like Joe Biden trying to be entertaining for a consumer grade obvious generation is either inoculation for a younger generation or the pure insult that it is all day to the adult generation, that you guys are not promoting or supporting a relevant or adequate leader for president. And so there's a dysfunction the size of America. So I'm asking you guys to support what our forefathers daringly, like the fruit of their entire lifetime, they're like, I am I'm the John Hancock. I am the one who have written the Constitution of America. I have done this thing. Oh, why are they dead? Why are those old presidents dead? Like, like kind of knew better, but didn't really leave a lasting impression on my life. Perhaps discovered electricity, but on the internet stumble upon the Clancy of history in the million years, its potential with the right harnessing of the lever circle to make Betty Forth the greater revolutionary that exists in a million years in the future, beyond the invention of the Constitution, whether you write your name large as John Hancock. You know, the historical bent American accent, here it is, it's on paper intelligence.